Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we discuss everything MCP and we cover a new character every week. I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Steven.
Hey guys, how's it going? We've got four today. How are you doing today, Brad?
I'm doing pretty good. I ate some ice cream.
Oh, I'm jealous. How are you doing today, Brandon?
I definitely did not eat ice cream.
So worse is what you're saying. Not
No.
as good.
If I ate ice cream, it would be really bad.
Oh, fair. How are you doing today, Steven?
I'm doing well. I went to the game store last night to pick up some models and saw a game out that is a board game of Skyrim. So I sat around and played Skyrim all day today on the video.
You played the video game.
Yeah,
Skyrim.
I'm like,
Because
instead of dropping $140 on the game, I'll just play the one on the video. So
That's fair. That's fair. They're all. Do you know that Skyrim is almost 12 years old right now?
Yeah,
it
I was at WV when it came out.
It came out November 11th, 2011. So 11/11/11.
Yeah. That's disgusting. I remember being so excited for that to come out. I remember waiting with bated breath.
I have never
I was
played
at
it.
my third college.
It's still a good game. It still holds up.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly.
It's got almost 300 quests in it.
I'm surprised it's that few. I wouldn't be surprised. Did you ever play the expansion? I know there are several, but specifically the one in Solstheim.
Well, what I usually do is everybody gets the hype for a video game, and I wait 6 months because when this was around, it was Xbox 360, and at 6 months they usually have their gold edition come out, where you don't have to download anything; you just get the extra content on the disc. So I have that one. So.
Okay, so yeah, I'll tell you what, the Solstheim expansion was for me. I played the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind an enormous amount, and playing Skyrim and going back to Solstheim, which is from the Elder Scrolls 3, was just my favorite part of that game by far. It was so good. Anyway, we are off topic already, and I'm doing a bad job of hosting. Let's move on to news and announcements. All right, so we've got a lot of news because Adepticon was going on this past week, and they released a lot of information. For one, we've got some info for Squirrel Girl, who we are doing today. We have Gwenpool, except there's a little bit of debate over some of the triggers because the pictures we got were not very good, and we know some of the releases that are coming out. Specifically, Brad, why don't you take it away?
They're making me an MCP?
Yep, you are a threat 0, so everyone
first ever 0 threat.
I'll be in every list.
Yes, and
no, your only ability is that you lose the player who's playing you 2 VPs every round.
That seems really bad.
No, his power, Brad's power is he gets to decide whether the characters of MCP are on Cerebro or not.
I do get to decide that. So far, they all are.
Yeah,
That's why the Inhumans didn't go up for a while.
I didn't make the app until months after they came out. I feel like they came out in January, and I started making the app in that November. Because you know what happened in October, November that year?
What's that?
We got the first X-Men.
Yeah.
So I've
We had Inhumans before. We did not have. Hold on. We had X-Men before Inhumans.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, because we had X-Men when I got into the game, and I remember buying Inhumans
Really?
when they came out.
So they came like the January after X-Men?
Yeah,
That doesn't seem right.
yeah, because when I got into the game, I got X-Men because it was right when they came out. It was the Christmas like they came out, and I got Inhumans. I remember playing when Inhumans came out. It was like they were like the first new affiliation that came out when I started playing.
This was all pre-pandemic, so it's ancient history. It's ancient.
It was actually like the middle of the pandemic.
Oh, really? Never mind.
Yeah. This game
time
like
is
came
so
out
warped.
like when the pandemic started.
Yeah, this game. My time frame is so warped. I have no idea. I anyway.
I only know that
Okay,
because
let's
like
get
when
to
I
the
started playing
actual
X-Men was up.
releases.
What's going on with the news?
Okay,
What news is
so
going on?
the first, we're just going to do them in the order they released them. And I don't have every picture they showed, but because they showed some like renders that then they showed painted miniatures of, and I just did the painted miniatures one. So the first thing that's being released that we know of, it's not necessarily the order they come out in, is a new Ultron, and it looks like he has grunts.
Yeah, Ultron with Ultron grunts. He looks sick as heck. For those of you who are listening instead of watching on YouTube, you can easily. Are these available pictures, Brad?
They're
Before
in
I
like
say you can easily find them.
they're in like all the Discords and on Facebook and all sorts of things.
Okay, so for those of you who are just listening, you might not be able to view these. You can find these on our YouTube and watch this version on YouTube and see all the pretty models that we have pictures of.
All right. I guess we pretty much since grunts came out, we thought that there might be an Ultron with grunts, and surprise, there's an Ultron with grunts.
It will be nice to have an Ultron that's worth putting on the table.
I don't think he's bad. Anyway, let's move on.
Hold on, Core said Ultron is very good.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The last time I played him was pre.
He got errated, and he's actually very
Pre-errata.
good.
Yeah, he's good.
And he was quite bad. Okay.
Oh yeah, he's
Okay.
bad. Yeah, he was bad,
Yes.
but
He was
his
quite
errata is
bad.
very good. He's just been forgotten about.
Okay, that's fair.
Next up is one of the Heralds of Galactus, Cosmic Ghost Rider. This is for
Cosmic Ghost Rider.
this is for people who don't know, Frank Castle.
We'll finally get a Frank Castle that's affiliated, hopefully.
Maybe. Probably Guardians. I think he was a Guardians member for a minute.
And Black Order.
Was he in the Black Order?
He worked with Thanos. Yes, he did.
Okay. This is a very weird
I think he worked
character.
with Thanos, not for Thanos, though.
I don't know. I've never read a comic with Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I was doing some research on it. He made a deal with Thanos. So
Okay. Next up is a new Wakandan box. It's M'Baku and Claw. They made it really sound like Claw is going to be affiliated with Wakanda, which is weird.
Yeah, it seems like it's not the case. Then again, Ronan is a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and
But
Hel is a member of Asgard. I guess that one makes sense, but
That one
the
makes sense in the regard that the affiliation is just a place.
yes.
Ronan was in the Guardians, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
well, vibranium and its ability to absorb sound makes sense for Claw to be in that affiliation on that standpoint. So
Well, Claw is the only
I don't
person.
I don't think he has vibranium in the comics. He is
he's-
made of sound.
he's pure sound. That's right.
He's made of sound.
Maybe he can live a normal life in Wakanda.
That's
Maybe they
driving
just
me
want to give
crazy.
Wakanda affiliated characters.
Hey, Brandon, don't talk on mic
Sorry.
with food in your mouth.
Sorry.
M'Baku looks really cool. And good for Wakandan players that they are getting more stuff.
Well, we haven't talked about the other one yet. Never mind.
Okay. Next up is a couple terrain boxes. So the first one has like these panther statues and like a fountain in the side of a rock. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I like these. These look really cool.
Then another, I don't know how these are split up, but another thing of terrain with a little tree, some like posts, and a vibranium hauler truck thing. One thing they talked about when they talked about these scenarios, that is true. This terrain is that they're going to start adding like a little scenario in the terrain packs that you can play with the terrain that gives the terrain rules. So they mentioned that this vibranium hauler has doors that can open and little vibranium crates, and that is important to the scenario that they wrote for it.
So did they clarify whether that's going to be some sort of additional thing that can be rules in a game, like on top of the normal game rules, or is this like a specific game type, sort of one of the offshoot?
It sounded more like, you know, the like organized play packs that they put out with like Vibranium Heist and the Symbiote one and stuff. Yeah. It sounded more like that than something on top of a normal game.
So it's okay. So it won't be something that you could have be rules set in a on top of the normal situation.
Yes.
Okay.
It sounded like it was,
which is 100% how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun little alternate thing to play. I think that makes them a lot more desirable. Like, I feel a lot better about buying them if I get like a little scenario to play with them.
It definitely makes it a lot better of a purchase. Like, you don't feel as bad.
I don't have pictures up. I just now remembered. With this train set, they have a Wakandan mat coming out to put the Wakandan terrain on. And we also saw a picture of a danger room looking X-Men mat that they had at Adepticon. So they are making more mats finally.
I really hate that mat because you're gonna play it all the time and it messes with my eyes.
I won't play it all the time. I don't have the right terrain for it.
Yeah, until they come out with a terrain kit for it.
Fair. Okay. Next. Is the next Rivals pack. So like the Logan Sabretooth one. It's more like the Logan Sabretooth one and less like the Doc Ock Spider-Man one, because they said that we will get new rules for these two characters. They are Black Panther and Killmonger. Killmonger looking like he does from the movies. Warrior Falls, awesome, where they fight to be king of Wakanda.
It looks really cool. It looks really cool. I like this pack a lot. This is very cool.
Is this the pack you wanted to talk about, Brandon?
Yeah, this pack is strictly better if the terrain comes with rules, which is really unfortunate for like the Logan and Sabretooth one.
Yeah.
Because I would have felt better about purchasing it if like, I was like, well, at least the terrain's like a mini game that I can play at home with like my friends that I'm trying to like teach the game. I'm also excited for a new I love this Killmonger model.
It does look really good.
Also, the Black Panther model is really good.
It
And
actually that model looks exactly like the picture that's on the Vibranium Heist Killmonger card.
yeah, this is a depiction of like kind of Killmonger like at a very like peak level. And it looks like the Black Panther is not going to be a Shuri Black Panther.
No, I think it's going to be T'Challa.
Which was kind of interesting. I think everyone kind of expected.
I think that if they were gonna do that, you could, in theory, bring both. You could bring both T'Challa and Shuri Black Panthers,
Yeah,
which would be cool, but
we will
also
get a Shuri Black Panther eventually.
This is starting though to really make me think they might be trying to like phase characters out or create a format per se where certain characters are legal and not. Like we're getting a lot of like updated of the same character.
that's distinctly possible.
Well,
No
these
one would
packs.
care.
This is probably pack 2, by the way, where Logan was 3.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so what they didn't originally they weren't originally going to put new rules with these characters, but Spider-Man Doc Ock didn't sell as well as they wanted, so
Or at all.
they learned their lesson.
Yeah.
Right. With
Which was the
Wolverine
pack we
and
most needed the most, which is like the
Oh.
pack we needed the most updated cards for.
Yes, with Wolverine and Sabretooth, no one brought up that they were the fear of them phasing out people because no one cared. But with the Hulk and with MODOK and now with T'Challa and Killmonger, people will care.
Well, and it's now becoming a theme. Like it's now a pattern. Like in the last 6 months, we've gotten like 10 characters that are like a redo of a new one.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
possible.
that's where it really becomes kind of like, wait a second, it's the pattern more than anything to me.
Yeah,
Which is
it's distinctly possible. We still have not heard anything of the sort yet, and it's mere speculation on our parts, but
well,
it is also distinctly possible.
I'm still waiting on my Wong Sorcerer Supreme.
You might be waiting a while for that one.
I know.
Next,
if we ever get another Wong, that'll probably be it.
Next is what I'm most excited about. X-Men. So
Yay.
they said Nightcrawler is one of the characters they've been bugged most about since starting the game. And we get a Nightcrawler. And
one of the 2 mutants that I bring up every time we talk about getting new mutants. So.
Yeah. And Bishop. This box, I don't have the pictures here, but they do come with options. There's a Banff for Nightcrawler, and then there are hand options. You can either go with swords or no swords. Or you could probably do one sword if you really wanted.
A Banff Nightcrawler. I love it.
Yeah.
Where there's just a Banff taking place.
What? Yeah,
I mean,
he is definitely
looks
teleporting.
like it definitely looks like you could do one sword if you wanted.
Yeah, because you could just put the 2 different arms on him.
Yeah. I was just looking to see if it was like a completely different pose or something.
Nope, it's not. Bishop has 2 options as well. There's his classic 90s look with the mullet and the goatee. And then there is the later version where he has a shaved head. I think he still might have a goatee. But hair or no hair.
He essentially just comes with an extra head.
They did a good job of getting me to buy 2 of these. Because I'm going to have a Kurt without any swords and a Kurt with at least 1 sword. And I want bald and haired Bishop. Okay, next pack. Also, a pack I'm excited about because it's more X-Men. It's Kitty,
Also, a pack that we probably should have got a lot sooner.
yeah, Kitty Pryde with Lockheed phasing through a Sentinel arm, and Iceman on an ice slide, which is really cool.
Yeah, I like this one. Really, this is cool. I really, as a character, I like Nightcrawler a lot more, but this is aesthetically I think a cooler pack. But I like them both.
Now we either have or have been announced every member of the original X-Men except Angel. So I expect that we'll get Angel soonish.
X-Men's getting a lot this
What
year.
about Banshee? Wasn't he an original X-Men?
He was not an original member.
Okay.
In the original run, he was a bad guy, but he was kind of forced to do that. And he joined the team at the same time Storm, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Thunderbird, and all those people joined.
Okay. All right.
I also hope we get Havoc and Polaris, who were part of the team back before Wolverine and stuff too, because I like those characters a lot. Anyway, this is exciting for me and other X-Men fans. The next pack, it has two characters, but they were on different slides. So the first character in the pack is, oh my god, I just lost all cred. Why can I not think of his name? Shadow King.
Wow.
Shadow King. I completely blanked.
Wow.
The Shadow King, who is a cool villain, in Claremont's X-Men run, he was the big bad that everything was going to be connected to, until they drove Claremont out of the company. Not that he was doing a bad job, the editors were meddling more and more in his stories, and it drove him crazy, so he left. So Shadow King is a psychic entity, and this model looks freaking cool.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
This series of models are by far the best looking X-Men models that we've got.
Well, yeah, they said this in the presentation. They have learned a lot since starting this thing, the company, and doing these models, and they keep pushing the envelope and making the coolest models they can, and they just keep doing that more and more.
For those of you who built Core Box Ultron and how bad of a build that was compared to the modern stuff where it builds pretty easy and looks amazing. I mean, they clearly have moved forward in their model game. They are maybe best in show models. Some of these new ones.
I haven't seen it yet. I mean, it's hard to see a game with a collective group of models that look better than the ones, especially like just look at these new ones, like even Ultron and its bots, like as like Cosmic Ghost Riders is exactly what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been waiting for that model for a while. I 100% expected that to be, that, and then like even like the Black Panther and Killmonger ones, like not that the first ones were bad, but they were really unimaginative, and I think they've definitely kind of let their like creative team just like it's like, hey, do whatever you can, we'll see if we can make it type of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the one that I do want to talk about one real quick that I didn't, the Iceman one, or I was gonna say Bobby, the Iceman one, it's kind of worries me because I feel like it's a very big piece on like a medium-sized base that it could end up looking like deceptively awkward.
Kind of like Lizard, or not quite as
Nah, like
tall.
I think it'll be worse. Not even like that. Like I'm talking about like where Lizard looks big on his base and he's got a medium base. I think this is a small character on like I think everything's gonna look like deceptively small like on his base just because it doesn't even look like it goes too much over his base, and that's a lot there. to fit in such a like small range that it might look kind of odd. I think the picture makes it look not bad, but like with the angles, it looks like they were kind of trying to make it look better than it might. And it's just maybe it's just my brain running in weird directions, but
I mean, you might be
It's
right. You might
probably
be
just
right.
your brain.
it's possible. He's also one of the X-Men like that I've always really really enjoyed. So uh, also the X-Men can get an affiliated model on a medium-sized base that they actually want to play. Maybe,
Beast gets played all the time.
but you can get a second one.
Okay, I wouldn't mind
You
that.
don't need that.
Next is Professor X with a head option, either Cerebro on or Cerebro off, in his hover chair, of course, because AMG clearly loves the 90s TV show. And he comes with a new...
Rightfully so.
Yeah, it's good. He comes with a new Uncanny X-Men leadership.
Oh my goodness.
So X-Men finally get a second leader.
Right.
To be fair, as big of an affiliation as they're becoming, it makes sense that they have three, with a lot of other ones having three. Yeah, there are
Two.
three models printed with leaderships on them.
Yeah.
No, you
Might not ever play three,
I think
but they have
I think you're thinking of Weapon X, or maybe X-Force as one. Anyway, I'm very interested to see what his leadership is. I hope it's as good as Storm's.
I doubt it will be.
they have not, there has not been a leadership in a long time that's not, in my opinion, real basic. I don't think that's a bad thing, but like the two creative ones we got were like Sam, Captain America, and then Malekith.
And they're basically
And
the same.
Yeah, and they're basically the same. And there was like 6 months where people only bitched about Sam, and people still just bitch about Malekith.
Shields is interesting.
Field is like the only one in the last year I felt like they've really like tried on to do something like different, if that makes sense. Like, because the most of them, like Winter Guard, it's like, oh, you can remove a condition, or like there's so many like Shadowland, oh, you can reroll dice. Like they're all, and not that there's a million different things you can really do, but it's just like they're all pretty street, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think your leadership should be like game warping. Um, and we have a couple that are.
Right.
So even like the new Modocs, like I mean, it's essentially, you're just changing dice. There's like a lot of dice manipulation. There's, like I said, most of them are just real. You do this one thing, you can do it a lot. It might help you, but I think they're focusing on more casual leaderships and just better models.
Yeah. I see what the point you're making, and I think you're right. Where the leadership doesn't really define the game style anymore.
Yeah.
It's more like a buff that you get, which is neat with your cool characters that you can play on this leadership.
Well, we don't need
Yeah,
more
and I think
kingpins.
no, that's kind of my point. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think they've just kind of streamlined them.
Yeah.
Like early in the game, it felt like they were trying to do like your leadership was going to alter how you played the game. Like every leadership for a while, and not every, like for the most part, it was just like every couple, like every so often you'd get a leadership and it tried to like Cyclops just tries to do too much, and it's not good because it effectively doesn't do anything.
Storms tries to do too much and does too much.
Yeah, but like, and it's like Kingpin's does a ton. I think they were trying to be entirely too thematic with them, and then
you're right. I see. Yeah,
but for the most part, I don't think there's only a couple leaderships that are just straight up bad. Like for the most part, they're pretty straightforward and allow you to play characters that you want to play with them. And like some characters are better with some than they are with others. And then there's some leaderships that are just a lot better than others.
Well, speaking of X-Men and Storm and Scott, do you think that they should have done something like split Storm's leadership and give her the cover part and then Scott the hop part?
Oh yeah, I think we've talked about that a bunch. That was kind of effectively that's what they probably should have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And they still would have been all right, both of them,
They still would have both been decent to.
There are still a couple more things in the news from Adepticon.
Oh yeah, this is a precursor. I have a rant to go on later.
Oh boy,
that'll happen.
Everyone buckle up. Everyone buckle up.
It has been festering all day.
Okay.
So be prepared. I'll try to keep it short, but it's a rant for sure.
Okay.
The further news is not MCP news, but we have some Shatterpoint news that we're going to share with you. Because
well, before we go into Shatterpoint news, they also put out pictures of some new measurement widgets and some new skin cards.
Those were
were
really con exclusives.
Oh, those were con exclusives?
Yeah.
Never mind.
You can't get those.
Never mind.
Yeah, that's why I kept telling Les he needed to get me a set.
Oh, dang it. I needed to get that Odin's Blessing with Throg on it.
Yeah, you can't get those. Well, you could probably get them on eBay, but you're going to pay a lot for them.
Yeah, it's not worth it. All right. Well, go on. Move on to Shatterpoint. Let's talk about that.
Shatterpoint. So first of all, they did demos all weekend. I saw 2 recorded demos. The one AMG did and one a different YouTube channel did. They recorded the video. They recorded the demo that they had. And I'm officially, I think at this point, hyped for the game.
Okay.
It looks pretty cool.
I have not yet watched the demos. I have not yet done that. I need to.
It's pretty cool. And then they made announcements of basically most, and I don't even think they used most, some of the releases that are coming out over the next year of MCP.
And most of it's supposed to come out relatively soon after. Most of the stuff they showed, it looked like most of it will come out relatively soon after the release of the game.
A lot of it they showed painted minis, which is a good sign.
Yeah, like what I've read is that a lot of that stuff they showed will probably be out this summer.
So the first thing that they showed was a Dathomir kit with, I don't remember this lady's name, but this like Night Sister Witch, Savage Press, and then 2 other Night Sisters. Good for Dathomir fans. I don't care.
Second, I have no idea who these are.
Yeah, you haven't watched Clone Wars. The next set,
they're relatively. What's a good word?
So you do know a Dathomir person, Fred.
I do.
Maul.
Okay. Who's the?
Yeah, Darth Maul's. Okay. It's Darth Maul's apprentice.
Darth Maul's brother.
Yeah, there are air quotes there.
Okay.
They call each other brother. Is Savage Press, and he wasn't really trained by
the other character is
Dooku.
The one who gave him legs.
Yeah. Savage Press wasn't really trained by Dooku, more barely told how to use the Force, given some lightsabers, and told to go ham.
He is much bigger than Maul.
Yes, he is. He's very much bigger. He
He's
doesn't
like
look
Juggernaut to like Magneto.
He doesn't look
Magneto.
it like
Yeah,
it
Magneto.
in the mirror, in the image of the model, but that's
Yeah,
all
it
right.
does not look like that was represented very well. I did notice that
Yeah.
because he should be much bigger.
The next pack that they announced is Mace Windu, Commander Wolf, and the Wolf Pack. This I can get behind. Everyone knows that
You do love Jedi.
Mace Windu is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. Talking about Mace Windu. And we get more clones. That's really what I'm excited about is the clones.
Yeah.
I figured this one will be very popular because Mace Windu.
Oh, 100%.
Oh no. Okay, next is Cad Bane and his posse.
Oh boy.
So there's Cad Bane, his side chick, Devil Boy, and Bat Boy. I don't know any of those characters' names. They said them at the presentation. I didn't know any of their names.
Right.
Fun fact: they're all also in Clone Wars.
They are. I just don't remember. They're not that important. Cad Bane is.
Cad Bane is the highlight of this pack.
Yeah. I figure this will be a popular pack just because of Cad Bane.
Cad Bane is a very beloved character.
Next is another cool Jedi. There aren't a lot of them. So the fact that they are front loading cool Jedi with Dooku, Mace Windu, and Plo Koon is sad for future releases.
Not for you. You can get them all out of the way.
Yeah. This is also the pack that comes with the Ahsoka that you can get for pre-ordering. And then I don't know these guys' names, but there's more clones. So I'm going to buy this pack
Yay.
for clones. I'm going to have a bunch of clones that I can only play 6 of. Next is... Oh, yeah, this one really surprised me. Queen Amidala and Handmaidens. What a weird choice.
Well, you've got to get both Natalie Portman and I cannot believe that I'm blanking on her name, and I was hoping it would come to me before
Keira
the end of
Knightley.
There it is.
Yeah.
You got to get both of them in
it's
there.
it's Padme Amidala, and I did not know this other woman's name until very recently. It was after this announcement. Her name is Sabine. The one that stands,
Really?
yeah, the one that stands in for Queen Amidala. Her name is Sabine.
Isn't that name taken in the Star Wars canon?
Technically, this was the first Sabine.
Okay.
But
okay.
yes, there are 2 Sabines.
No one ever called this character Sabine.
No,
In the movie.
because
No one ever said it.
no,
Nobody
because
ever remembered these characters existed outside of memes.
you don't. She's never called anything until she's pretending to be Queen Amidala, and then they call her Amidala, and then Amidala doesn't go by her name; she goes by Padme. So Padme Amidala always gets called her name, and Keira Knightley never gets called anything.
Wasn't Rose Byrne also one of them?
Maybe, but she wasn't the important one.
Right, but she's the one who dies in the Clone Wars. Anyway, keep going. Keep going. That's not relevant.
Okay. So good for Queen Amidala fans. When that movie came out, I would have been all over this pack, but I don't really care anymore.
Right, same.
Then they made a big hubbub about how they weren't allowed to show anymore, and they did promise that there will be more to talk about on the May the 4th through the 6th. And then Will talked about how he left. the presenter left her laptop on with a post-it note with her password and how he added some new slides. And here's what we get. So the future is coming. The Galactic Civil War. We're getting Darth Vader and some stormtroopers.
We knew it was coming.
Yeah. Then we're getting Luke, Leia in her bounty hunter gear. R2D2, and I don't know who that other guy is. Is Han dressed up? I don't know. Some other dude.
I don't know.
Some other dude. Anyway, so we get that pack. So you have a Luke and you have a Vader. I am not buying this Luke pack, but I'm buying the Vader pack. It comes with stormtroopers. Then we got more.
Oh boy. Okay.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more slides. I'll try to go through them quick.
Power through them. Power through them.
Ewoks. We're getting a bunch of Ewoks. The Ewoks look pretty cool. We are getting Inquisitors. So First Brother and crew. We are getting Iden Versio and the Inferno Squad. We are getting Han Solo. We don't know what's coming with him. Han Solo is going to be popular. We have Din Djarin and Grogu coming. This is the first model that they made for the game. So hopefully we get him soonish because he's cool. And then the final tease at the very end was that we are getting the cast of Rebels. So everyone's favorite, Sabine Wren and her friends.
Yep.
Who is like the lowest ranking member of the cast of Rebels?
She had the Darksaber at one point.
Hey, spoilers.
Fred has not watched Rebels either.
Yeah, he has.
I have watched Rebels actually.
Yeah, he has.
How did you watch Rebels and not Clone Wars?
Rebels came out at a time when DVDs still existed, and one of my friends had the Rebels DVDs and lent them to me, and I watched them. And I did not do the same with Clone Wars, so that's why.
All right, fair enough.
You should watch Clone Wars. I like Rebels so far.
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
Clone Wars, very good, though.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
Okay, that's it. That's all of them.
All right. Well, that was Star Wars Shatterpoint, and it looks really cool. The models look great.
If you like Star Wars, you'll probably like the game.
Yeah.
The mechanics seem real good.
Yeah, they're trying to make what they did with MCP go into Star Wars, and I'm excited. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. All right, let's move on to a new section. All right, I'm going to start this section off. I'm going to talk to you, Steven, but before we start this off, I'm going to tell Brandon that I'm going to want your opinion real quick on MODOK, because you missed that episode last week, and think about it during Steven's section. So, and then keep it brief, not too long. All right, Steven.
Yes, sir.
You attended a tournament recently, did you not?
And it wasn't a Adepticon. So
it was not an Adepticon. Okay.
No, it wasn't. I actually went to a tournament at Fabricators Forge in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and that was on Saturday, the 25th. And I met Bryce again because I met him obviously at the tournament down at Lost Legion, and had a good time. Met some new people, played 3 games. So Those games consisted of me playing Midnight Suns Defenders, and the first game I played against a relatively new player, Jeff. He was playing Shadowlands Daredevil, uh, but he also had Pyro and Mystique in there, so it was kind of a optimized setup. I ended up winning the game by tabling him. After that, I played Nick, who was the winner of the tournament. He was playing the Emma Frost Hellfire Club. He had Apex and X23, and I made some not so good decisions and then lost that game. I forget the score, but I was just trying to go for attrition. It didn't work. And then last but not least, I played Mac. Again, I was going for attrition. He played Convocation with Doctor Strange, um, Sorcerer Supreme, and Hulk with Clea and Baron Mordo. And he won that game because Baron Mordo survived on one hit point running away. Yes, he ran away. So, and I couldn't catch him. So, but the lesson learned was each one of these games, if I remember correctly, I played Deadly Meteors. And I thought I was good on Deadly Meteors. And obviously, I'm not good on Deadly Meteors. So that will be coming out of the list very soon.
Okay.
But yeah,
why do you think that is? Just like speculation.
Because if you're playing an attrition list, I thought leaving a token on something and then moving to another point or chasing somebody down was optimal. What I found out is what's optimal is that you need to have points people are standing on to be an attrition team. So they have to stand by it. They just can't leave it and run away. So
Okay.
that's what I learned from it. So if you're playing
I will take that lesson to heart.
if you're playing an attrition faction, you really, really need to make people stick in places where you want to attack them.
Okay. Did you enjoy the tournament?
Oh yeah, I met 8 new people, and got to experience a different environment. Bryce was very graceful. Everybody was very warm and inviting. A couple people from Erie, Pennsylvania came down. A couple people from Pittsburgh. So apparently they all know about the tournament that's going to happen at my home store on the 22nd of April. So I'll have more announcements about that in an upcoming cast of ours. So
Okay. All right.
details about that and how people can get signed up, because it's a weird way that the organizer has done it. So
Okay. Yeah, I really like Bryce is a really good store tournament runner, and that store is very nice. It's a very nice store to attend. So if you are in range whenever they're doing a tournament, it is worth going to. All right. Let's move on to Brandon. Brandon, real quick, give us your MODOK, and then you said you had a rant that you wanted to do. So
The rant's
this is
later.
your segment.
Sorry. No, the rant's later. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the rant's later. It's it'll come up later. Now MODOK, I think MODOK's good. I think he's a really good 5 threat. The biggest problem with MODOK is he came out at the beginning of the game and he got nerfed. He probably had one of the biggest nerfs. I mean, the nerfs weren't huge, but he did get nerfed. He's definitely worse than he was, but he was arguably one of the most broken characters in the game before the nerf. So, I mean, he's all in all a really good character. There's nothing bad about his card.
Yep. Okay. And what's your letter grade?
Yeah, I think he's an A. Solid A.
Yeah.
He's still really good. Like I said, like the worst thing about him is that people just like he just came out a long time ago and there's just a bunch more new toys. But all in all, he still does a really good amount of stuff.
Yeah.
And having a range 4 Mystic builder with 6 dice is crazy good on a large base.
I agree. All right. So, is there any other things that we need to cover today? I know that you have a segment, Steven, but do you think we could sit on that until next week? Because
Oh,
we're going to run long, in all
that's
likelihood.
perfectly that's perfectly all right. Actually,
Okay.
I can tie it in with the character that we're running a little bit, so it's fine. That we're reviewing today. So
Okay. All right, let's move on to our character review for this week. We're going to be doing Squirrel Girl. Uh, Squirrel Girl, whom I have open here. Her name, once it loads,
As he
her name
frantically
is
tries to open Squirrel Girl up.
Doreen Green. She has 3 physical defense, 3 energy defense, and 3 mystic defense. She has 6 stamina on her front side and 5 stamina on her back side. She is threat 4, size 2, and moves medium. Uh, hey Brad, why don't you cover the first two? Why don't you cover the attack suite?
Okay. She has 2 physical attacks. The first is Knuckle Spike Strike. It is range 3, 5 dice, cost 0. It gains power equal to damage dealt. Has Wild Ambush. After the attack is resolved, place this character within 1 of the target character. Her second attack is called Army of Squirrels. It's range 4, 6 dice, cost 2. If this attack deals damage after the attack is resolved, the target character gains bleed and stun. And Wild Push. Before damage is dealt, the character is size 3 or less, they push it short.
Okay, I realize looking at this character that these are some bricks of text. So, uh,
No, what you realize is that I was going to get stuck with the longest text, and I wasn't going to read it.
yeah, what I'll do is I will read it. And Steven, can you do tippy toe takedown?
yes, and I can do the tippy come back, obviously too, because those
Okay.
kind of go together. So, tippy toe takedown. This is X power, so you can spend the amount of power that you need in this case. This character may spend any amount of power to use this superpower. Choose an enemy character within 3 of this character with a threat value equal to or lower than the amount of power spent to use this superpower. Move the tippy toe token to that character. While that character has the tippy toe token, it does not add critical results in its attack, defense, or dodge rolls to its total successes, and not add dice to its attack, defense, or dodge rolls as a result of these critical results. And then she has a reactive power, which is Tippy Come Back, costs 0 power. When this character is targeted by an attack, it may use this superpower. Move the Tippy Toe token to this character from anywhere.
All right. And her last power is a passive power called Squirrelese, and it reads: this character begins the game with a tippy toe token. While this character has the tippy toe token, it may re-roll up to 2 dice when making an attack, defense, or dodge roll. During the power phase, you may move the token from anywhere to this character. And whenever a character is dazed or KO'd while it has the tippy toe token, move the tippy toe token to this character. This character cannot have a tippy toe token except the one it begins the game with, and when this character is removed from the battlefield, remove its tippy toe token from the game. Additionally, when this character is dazed, move the tippy toe token to this character from anywhere. And then she has Wall Crawler. And now, Brandon,
I couldn't
let's.
have handled the wall crawler part.
Well, I'm still giving you some homework. Flip over to her backside, and there's a new power called Guardian Squirrel. And why don't you read that one?
Fun fact, I had not looked at her backside yet, so I didn't
Yeah,
know
it
this
changes.
was here.
I did not know it changed.
Yeah,
So,
she
yeah,
uses Tippy Come Back, and she gains Guardian Squirrel.
Yeah.
Guardian Squirrel, when this character would be KO'd by an enemy effect, if it has the tippy toe token, remove the token from the game. This character moves 1 damage, is not KO'd, may be placed within 2 of its current position. This character cannot have tippy toe tokens for the rest of the game.
Okay, so that's Squirrel Girl. what are everyone's thoughts? Brad, why don't we start with you?
Okay, good. Um, it feels like she's gonna have her token most of the time, and that she's
Yeah,
probably better with it.
I I almost feel like you never get rid of it. Like, why would you?
I
You,
don't see a reason to get
yeah,
rid of it. This
you
is this
should,
is part of my rant for the
yeah,
record.
you should keep it. And if you never use tippy toe takedown, she feels like she's overcosted.
Yeah, I agree.
Ooh, I'm going next, guys. Brad's feeding right into me.
Yeah, so like the effect on tippy toe takedown's good, but it's better if she just has the token. Like the rerolls are just
Are big.
stronger.
Are,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I guess you could occasionally use it to like put on someone that you're gonna then gang up on and then immediately get it back when you daze them. But I don't know.
I think that there's very little reason to get rid of it. All right, go, Brandon. Go. Are you done, Brad? Sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't mean
yeah,
to cut you
I'm
off.
good. I'm good.
Okay, Brandon,
All right,
go
this
for it.
this this character literally just has a decent builder, a mediocre spender, and then the rest of the card just says that this character can reroll up to 2 dice when making an attack, defense, or dodge roll. That's it. That's all it says. There's
Yeah,
not like, there's a lot of words to say that. Like this is a 3-point model that they put it for again. And we had a really bad power creep about a year ago where we were getting a lot of really powerful models a year and a half ago. Like it was like every model was coming out was like, "Oh, this is like," but we have completely reverted away from that. We are getting over like they have kind of they in my opinion are listening too much to online critics and they're reverting characters. Like Squirrel Girl is a 3-threat model. This is a 3-threat character. Like you can't convince me this. If you didn't if you took I read this entire front of the card and thought it was a 3-threat model and didn't even think it was a very good 3-threat model. I thought it was an interesting, fun one, which is what I wanted from this character. And at 3, I was like, oh, this is really cool. This will be really fun. The tippy toe token hopefully is really cool looking if you actually get one. Like people can 3D print one. That'll be really cool. And I was like, but it's not going to do anything. You just get to keep a little squirrel token on your card, or you can put it on her base or something maybe, even though she's already got one on her base. You could just, I don't know, do something cool with it, right? And then it was like, oh, this is a 4. And then I realized later, after I looked at it like 2 other times, that it was a 4-threat character, and I was like, this is a 3-threat character.
yeah,
And it's the same. And we got another character in this pack that is almost exactly the same. That is a 3-threat character, but was labeled a 4-threat character.
I
I
don't
think
know
she would have
about
been a
that
really
one.
good 3-threat character. It's the attack suite. I mean, on both of them, like they're not good, and then the rest of the text is fine. But like this one doesn't say anything. This is a lot of text that could have been. You could have summed this whole card up in like 8 words.
yeah. I think that they wanted to do another sort of Brother Daniel esque character, and have that effect on another character. But what they did to incentivize keeping the the I'm gonna call it Brother Squirrel. What they did to incentivize keeping Brother Squirrel is far too good, and what it does is far too bad to justify doing. Like you just keep it at throughout the game, and she is more survivable by far. She does more damage. I guess part of what's relevant is that if she is KO'd, the squirrel gets KO'd first, and she will soak up at least one more attack before she is actually KO'd.
Yeah.
But
And Guardian
yeah,
Squirrel is cool. I mean, but she's only
that is
rolling
neat.
3 dice. She's only rolled 3 dice on defense. She does get a re-roll 2 of them. But I mean, you
I
can.
it only gets rid of one damage from it.
Well, and it doesn't even clear conditions.
Right, so
So
she can
if
die
she,
bleeding.
yeah, if she has like a bleed and say the attack possibly staggers her, now she has bleed and stagger, and like you effectively don't have anything. You have a character that's alive, but she doesn't have
Right.
healing factor or anything. Like I said, I think that part's kind of interesting because you can put yourself on a point or move yourself away, um, and kind of like survive because you don't drop. I do like that you don't drop your tokens. So if you have, a cube or a hammer or whatever, and you haven't activated yet, you might have a chance to activate. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
So like I
It,
think
it-
that's pretty cool, and that's probably the most interesting thing about this card to me. But the attacks are mediocre to me, or at least Army of Squirrels is mediocre to me. Knuckles Spike strikes it's a pretty good. I mean, it's good.
it's a fine builder. It's a fine
They
builder.
Yeah,
they
Uh,
are much better attacks if you consider the fact that she's re-rolling 2 of the dice.
yeah. I mean they're fine, but
the
even
I think that the
we haven't got a really good spender in a long time though. So, and like and I've talked about it before. They've definitely toned down spenders, especially. Like
Well,
we're
probably
not,
they've
because
we're,
it's
made
way
them
too
weaker,
much.
but they've also made them cheaper, so people will actually
yeah.
use them.
Yeah, we don't have any of those super high costs. And that's what I was. Yeah, and I think that's fine. I think your spender's fine. I think her attacks are fine. It's the problem is that nothing else on her card. There's nothing else that she's doing. Like, and I just
I
at fourth
yeah,
threat, I don't know. I don't know when you ever play this character at fourth threat.
yeah, I she is overcosted, and I completely agree with you on that front. Steven, we haven't heard from you yet. What are your thoughts here?
Um, well, considering I don't like the character in the comics, mechanically, I believe she is overcosted. I'll agree with Brandon. But that tippy toe token, I'm I'm putting her in Spider Foes and I'm all gas and no brakes. Spider Foes with this little tippy toe takedown, ganging up on somebody, they disappear like quick, very quick.
Okay.
That's me. All gas, no brakes, man. So
That's fair. That's fair.
because she effectively gives Synthesoid Avenger to everybody on your team. Okay, think of how good that power is on Vision. I mean that Spender on Vision. She effectively gives Cruel Twist to everybody on your team. That's from Scarlet Witch. Think of how good that is. Okay, they don't count their defenses, and then if you put that into Spider Foes, and they're making you re-roll one of your defense dice, it's lights out. It's gonzo.
Yeah, it's more likely that they'll re-roll into a crit, which means nothing. You're right.
Exactly.
There's another face that's useless on that dice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. If I put her anywhere, I'm going to put her in Spider Foes.
Okay, that's
That's just
entirely
me.
fair. That's entirely fair. Uh, I think that her spender. What we should state is her spender does, if she does damage, auto do bleed and stun, which is very good. That's not bad at all. But I mean, she's cost four for this, and it's just not that. It's an underwhelming build for the character. It's an
Yeah.
underwhelming sort of put together. I like the idea. I like the thought process. They're trying to make this ability to put a token out and change how your opponent works function in a way that doesn't feel as absolutely broken as Dr. Voodoo can sometimes. But what they've done is they've just made it a
It's a very
self
good
buff.
character.
Do you want to
And
hear my condition rant on this?
please go ahead.
Tippy toe takedown should have been the judgment condition.
Okay. Okay. All right.
That Ronan and Scarlet Witch give out because it's
Yeah.
only on 2 characters. It's very rare, but that's what judgment should have been. And then Hex should have been what judgment is at the
Okay.
moment.
Okay.
So
I see
I
what you're
believe,
saying. I see what you're
yeah.
saying.
So
Okay.
it would have been very rare, It would have made Ronan relevant at some point, especially with his, get to move short and attack back when you daze me, right? Obviously,
Mhm.
they're judged. Scarlet Witch the same way. And then Hex would have been a whole lot more useful also because more characters can give it out, and denying your opponent power when you attack into them, that's huge. So I think
That is
I
true.
think this is this should have been Judgment, this tippy toe takedown.
That should have been the wording for Judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think that is there anything that anyone else would like to bring up about this character before we move on to letter grades? All right, let's move on to letter grades. I guess I will go first.
Oh, I had my mic muted. I'm sorry.
Oh, were you talking?
No, the only thing that I would say is the two things it was compared to were a static ability on a 5-threat character and an attack on a 4-threat character that nobody uses.
Well, I think
Like,
what Steven was saying was that Judgment should have
no, I was talking
been.
about just like where it's like this like should have been an ability type of deal where it's like it's not like tippy toe takedown. Like I think at that point it's just like I said, it's still a lot of text for a really mediocre ability.
Well, yeah, Steven wasn't even. I don't think he was talking about this character in general. I think that he was saying that
This
he
was
wishes
before that.
Judgment. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Before
Okay.
that, yeah, before that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I don't think it's fine. I think
All
that affect's fine. It's just a lot of text from this character, and I feel like that's where they're justifying her being a 4-threat character.
It
And I
absolutely
just don't
is.
think that. Yeah, and that does not do enough to guarantee to upgrade this from a 3 to a 4-threat, in my opinion. Because, like I said, this effect is on another character and it's Vision, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone use that attack on Vision. Like you're using the beam 4 or 5 dice energy attack with sap power, and you're using his terrain throw or character. Like you're using everything else on his card. Like that's probably the worst thing on Vision's card.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the letter grades. I guess I will go first. I'm gonna give her, and this, I'm debating between a C minus and a D plus, which feels pretty low. Feels pretty low for me. I'm gonna give her a C minus because I think that being able to re-roll 2 dice in everything is pretty good. That's pretty useful. It's pretty damn useful. It's just she's just I don't I think that there's a lot on this card that you just never use. All right.
Yeah, she's staying alive, but she's not doing a whole lot.
Brandon, why don't you go next?
I'm at the C minus. I really wanted to hedge a little bit, but I'm not sure if there's a tactics card even that could come out that would make me be like, oh yeah, that's it. Like
I'm
They
sure that
said the
is.
tactics cards are gonna be crazy with these two.
Okay. I'm sure that they
I
can
just
change
weirdly
it.
think they're gonna be like, but I hope they're tactics cards like that I want to come out with these type of characters where they're just really fun, not like competitively
Game
like
breaking.
game breaking. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd rather them just be really fun and cool than anything. But I kind of hope that for most tactics cards. I just want stuff to be. I want a little bit of both. I want there to be a nice. I think these fit in that fun section of the game more so than the competitive section. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I agree. Steven, why don't you give her a letter grade?
Mm. Well, not knowing factions, not knowing tactics cards, I'm going to put her at C, just a C.
I see. Okay.
Mhm.
And Brad, what you got?
I'm also putting her at a C. I think if you like this character and want to put her in your list, you're not like completely hamstringing yourself. She'll do good stuff. You'll have fun.
You mean
with
you're not
her.
completely squirreling yourself?
Sure, squirreling yourself. You'll have fun with her. If you like her as a character, you'll probably like her on the table.
She feels a lot like Miss Marvel to me.
Like
And
a character that people who like her play her, and
yeah, like if you like her player for sure, I definitely like. I don't think there's anyone, and there's only okay. I don't want to say anyone. There's like 3 characters in this game that aren't playable, Um, but yeah, I just think like Miss Marvel's one of those characters where she's got a lot of text on her card, doesn't do a whole lot, but there's a lot of text on her card. Like, but she's got rerolls that are cool. She's got a couple little cool things, but like, and you don't feel like you're doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
And but she's a cool character. You want to play her? Play her. Like it's the same thing. Like I don't think there's anyone. Like I said, we haven't got anyone in a while that was like unplayable, and I don't think this character is unplayable. I am I'm glad we got like a Squirrel Girl like this versus a like overpowered one.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. Uh. Okay. Uh. Brad, do you have any comic book recommendations that you want to talk about with Squirrel Girl?
Yes, I do. So I have 3 recommendations today. I have her first appearance in Marvel Superheroes number 8 from 1990. Uh, this is actually an Iron Man story, but she co-stars. And she ambushes Iron Man and I think beats him. And then they team up, and then Iron Man is captured by the bad guy. And so Squirrel Girl is left to save him and defeat the bad guy, which is Doctor Doom. And this comic is not on Marvel Unlimited. It is, however, reprinted in like the first volume of a bunch of different Squirrel Girl collections. So if you like see a Squirrel Girl collection and it's either unnumbered or has a 1 on it, you probably will have this story in there. And it's only like 8 pages.
Why is it not on Marvel Unlimited?
I don't know. It starts with like issue 15 of this series.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I looked. It's not there. And I tried just looking for it like maybe elsewhere on there, and I could not find it. The other 2 things that I'm going to recommend are
Is
on
this
there.
the first comic you've recommended that wasn't on Marvel Unlimited?
No, I recommended an Excalibur series called something Friends. What is the name of that series? Where Kitty Pryde and Rachel go back in time and meet a earlier version of Zemo from the Zemo episode, and it's not on Unlimited.
So
Okay.
second time ever we've
Yeah.
got it.
I think
Nice.
those are the only 2 times. That's how much stuff is on Marvel Unlimited. It's rare not to
And
find
this that
something.
was literally I was just trying to
Yeah.
plug that how good of a purchase Marvel Unlimited is.
It is. It's very good. And they're putting new comics out on there that are online exclusives. Like they don't print them in physical. And they're really good. Anyway, next is Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. This is a fairly recent series. There were 2 volumes of it, but the second volume just picks up right where the first one left off. There was a big event where they canceled all the Marvel books and did a weird crossover, and then they started everything back up again right in the middle. But this is by Ryan North of Dinosaur Comics fame and Erica Henderson. I figure people may have actually heard of Dinosaur Comics on the internet, where it's the same 3 panels of 2 dinosaurs for every comic, and the dialogue changes. Fred, do you know Dinosaur Comics?
I don't. It
You
sounds
would
up my alley.
you would love Dinosaur Comics.
I probably would.
So Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is a little bit of slice of life and a little bit of comedy. But there's also a lot of normal superhero stuff because Doreen's in college and she's trying to like get a computer science degree, but things keep happening and she ends up in adventures and meets basically everyone in the Marvel universe, including Galactus. And it's a charming, wholesome, well-loved comic by a guy who is known for writing good comics even before he worked for Marvel.
Okay.
And the last
And
one.
you've got one more?
Yeah, the last one is a
Yeah.
single issue. It is all new Wolverine number 7. This is by Tom Taylor and Marcio Takara. Squirrel Girl, thinking that Laura can talk to Wolverine since her name is Wolverine, brings Laura an actual Wolverine named Jonathan. This is the first appearance of Jonathan, the actual Wolverine. She also needs help from Laura Wolverine. A squirrel that's a friend of Doreen is missing, and that squirrel has a family that misses him very much. And so she asks Laura to help her find the squirrel, and they set off on that adventure.
Oh boy.
This is a great issue of this comic. Great issue.
Anything that has a named Wolverine that you talk to has got to be fun.
You mean the one that you refused to let stay on your
Yep.
Ghost Rider when you played? No, just making sure we're on the same page.
His Ghost Rider, it's his Ghost Rider now.
It was he was under he had control of it. And
You
he
know what?
refused.
I have not gone to the store and bought my Ghost Rider yet, and I need to do that soon.
Yes.
I will do that
Yeah.
likely tomorrow.
Your name is on it and everything.
Okay, hey Brandon. Have you got a list recommendation for us for Squirrel Girl?
Yeah, I've actually got a second one because someone stole my thunder from the first one.
Oh no! I'm so sorry. Oh,
So
I
I
did not
gotta-
mean to do that.
No, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
So you're putting him, you were putting her in Spider Foes, huh?
Yeah, I actually had to do some research. I had to like legitimately think about it because there's a lot of cop out affiliations. It's really funny. I wanted to say this because this is like one model that like strictly does not get better under Captain America Steve.
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
like just does not get better. Like, which is kind of ironic because
Can I see if I
gets-
called the second one?
you called the second one.
If I call the second one, instead of Spider Foes, you said you had a second one.
What do you think?
Web Warriors?
Nah, it wasn't Web
Oh.
Warriors.
Because I was thinking about putting her in Web Warriors.
I didn't even. I'll be honest. Web Warriors is one of the few affiliations like I never really consider because I think they're so set in who's playing in it. So I see and I get that. So the difference. I was torn. We were on the same path because I was torn between Shadowland Daredevil and oh God, where'd it go?
Green Goblin?
No, as the second one,
As the
Shadowland. Yeah, it's Shadowland Daredevil and Cable.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to
Just
give
double down
extra.
on
I want to give
reroll.
extra reroll. Yeah, I just want to get extra rerolls. I actually settled on Wakanda.
Okay.
Because I was thinking of X Force and then I remembered that Black Panthers is just essentially a better like you can pay and then get a reroll one of your dice and attacking, defending, or dodging.
I really love the X Force idea though, because that's a faction where you might actually play tippy toe takedown.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's they want to attack more. That's really where I was going with it, but I don't think I've ever put anybody in Wakanda. And that's really where it came down to. I do like her in X-Force. That was really the second
I also
option,
like
but
the
I
fact
wanted to...
that they're all like super serious, and then you've just got Squirrel Girl there.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it's also
you
good
also
because
have
I want to see
Deadpool.
Squirrel. Yeah, I want Squirrel Girl and Deadpool to interact the entire time. But yeah, I think it's just. I think if you double down on rerolls, I'd like. I'll tell you, my X Force idea was I love the idea in her and X Force with that reroll plus Baron Zemo with the reroll.
Of
The only
course.
problem is then you're playing two unaffiliated characters.
That's pretty much the limit.
Yeah, so you're at that point you're at a limit. Now you can play your X-Force characters.
Your X-Force
and
characters, Winter Soldier, X-23,
yeah,
Domino.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, there's nobody else in that affiliation. It's pretty lack. I'm just kidding. Uh, but yeah, I think you just double down on the reroll. That's all her card says is she can reroll dice. Like there's nothing else there. Like there's nothing to feed off of or go into. Like I think you really kind of just feed off the affiliations. If you really want to play this character, I think she feeds off really well in the affiliations that let you reroll. Um, it's real easy to be affiliated with Wakanda, with Black Panther, Shuri, and Okoye, and you have a ton of room for unaffiliated characters. Like a ton of room. Even with those 4 characters, you are not at 15 points. You're only at 13. So you have to add more characters.
Well,
For
you
now.
could put Killmonger in for 17. So
Yeah, I was saying, then you're at a point where you have, but having 3 affiliated characters and only taking up,
yeah,
9
I know.
points. Now you're in a spot where you can splash whoever you want, and I think she fits in really well there. Um, where X Force, you kind of have to. It's like the exact opposite of a problem, is where you have to like fight to stay affiliated,
Yeah.
and
That's why Winter Soldier makes it every time.
yeah, and you don't, and this is kind of the Green Goblin. That's why kind of Green Goblin, because they also are in a good mix of they have a bunch of affiliated characters that are good. He has the rerolls or forcing rerolls modifies, and just kind of preventing it. Also, kind of can play decently well with Tippy Do take that. There's still no real way. There's still real no optimal reason to play that card on a regular basis.
All right. Well, there you go. Bring her in Wakanda and in all those other factions if you want to
All
bring
gas, all gas, no brakes.
And if player, if you really love this character and you want any kind of inside player and characters that just take advantage, rerolling dice is a good thing to do. It's just not great if that's the only text on your card.
All
But
right.
she does a lot of that and she can do it really good. I like the idea of her with like Baron Zemo and just being able to, like in X Force, you have her, so she's rerolling 2, then she can reroll a Zemo dice, then she gets an attack reroll. Like that's, I mean, you're rerolling 4, like you're probably gonna max out your hits, hopefully, on 5 dice in a perfect world. So
Probably could. Probably could. Okay. I think that means that it's my turn. All right. So what I'm bringing today is one of my patented. This just came out, and I want to talk about it. So what I'm bringing today is the Resident Evil 4 remake. Now, never mind the fact that this remake represents basically intellectual bankruptcy and an inability to come up with new ideas. It's really good. It's really heckin' good. And that feeding into nostalgia is probably stagnating culture in a way that is setting us back substantially. Play this game. It's great. It's a really good game. The game was great when it came out in 2005, 2005, and it is so much better. They managed to polish it up and put out an excellent game in
Fred,
2023.
do you want to hear something crazy?
What's that?
I have played this game.
See
Not
everybody.
only have
Even
I played
Brad
this
played
game,
this.
I have beat this game.
Well done.
Do you know
Well
how many
done.
games I've beat in my life?
not many.
Not many. Probably
So
less
you
than
can
6.
attest.
This was
attest
released
to
in
the quality.
2005 for the record.
Okay.
I didn't
I was
play it
correct.
in 2005.
January 11th of 2005, so you were barely correct. But
I
it was
played this
correct.
on
I
a
was
Wii.
correct. Okay. That's the platform to play the original on, because you could just point and shoot at everything.
Yes. It was very fun.
Its second highest score was on the Wii overall. This game was
I
on a
will
lot
play-
of systems. This game has been on like 9 total systems at this point.
Do you know why? Because it's beloved. It's beloved. And they managed to do it justice with the remake. The remake is excellent. It is very, very good. go play it.
I have
Go
been
play
told numerous times that if you're going to play a Resident Evil 4, that's the one, or a Resident Evil game, that's the one you need to play.
It is
it.
very good.
Do you mean the original? Like people told you to play the original?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It is an excellent game, and it is fun to play, and it's a good onboarding point for Resident Evil because it's basically the start of a new arc, as opposed to being overloaded with backstory in the first three. Okay, that's it. That's it for today. That's Squirrel Girl, and aside from her flaws, pick her up if you want to have some fun playing a character you like.
She's still very
Uh,
fun, and you can get plenty of enjoyment out of her.
Yeah, yeah. And until next week, have fun out there.